بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وبعد. Islam encourages Muslims to help each other become the best versions of themselves. If I see someone doing something wrong, it is incumbent on me as a brother in Islam or a sister in Islam to rectify and help that person become better. So if I see somebody praying salah and they make a mistake in their salah, if a person is making wudu and they're not performing wudu properly, it's my religious obligation to help that person see what they cannot see. We are like mirrors to one another. You know how we have blind spots? You need to look at your rear view mirror to see if there's somebody behind you, because otherwise you're going to have to turn all the way. We are mirrors to one another. However, when we correct somebody, when we are the one giving advice to other people, there are a few conditions. The first obvious condition is you have to be gentle. You cannot be harsh, you cannot be rude, and you have to have that person's interest in mind. But a second condition that we often forget when we try to correct one another is you have to be knowledgeable about that subject. If I do not know the rules regarding something, I have no place to go and correct somebody else. So to give you two examples. Example number one, somebody's making wudu, and as they're making wudu, they wash their arms, but they don't wash their elbows. I know, basic fact, that if part of your arm is dry, then your wudu is incomplete. That much knowledge I have, so I have the authority, even though I'm not a scholar, I'm just an average person. I can say to the person next to me, brother, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you that you came to the masjid. It's very inspirational that you came this way. But when you're making wudu, if you leave a part of it dry, then your wudu is not accepted. But the other hand, sometimes we don't know. I remember once we were playing basketball. We were playing some sports. And after we were done, I was very sweaty. I had my clothes on and I was all sweaty. And I was going to the side. A lot of people, not everybody was Muslim over there. So myself, I went to the side and I was about to pray salah. When one of the brothers, he came to me and says, brother, don't pray salah. I said, why? He says, you don't have wudu. I said, no, I made wudu before I came to play. He's like, no, when you sweat, your wudu breaks. I said, I hate to break it to you. I know you have good intentions, but sweat doesn't break. And he started arguing me for 5 to 10 minutes. Where I said, you know what? It's better I pray later on before I make this person's day miserable. He kept saying that, if you're sweating, your salah doesn't count. If you're sweating, your wudu isn't there. And he was very adamant about it. That's an example of good intentions but no knowledge. Because sweating doesn't break your wudu. Sweating does not break your wudu. So, the one thing we should remember, after being gentle, is I have to be knowledgeable about it. If I see somebody praying salah, and the person is doing something, and I'm not sure, let me not go to him and say, hey, why you're praying wrong? Next thing you know, I ask a scholar and I say, listen, I was seeing that person pray and he raised his hand when he was going to ruku'. And the scholar will say, no, there's a difference of opinion, that's actually valid. But there are certain things we all know. Let's say, for instance, I go into sajda and my entire back is showing. There's no scholar on the planet that would ever tell you that your entire back is showing but your salah is valid. So the lesson here is, let's be gentle. And when we are going to correct one another, let's be knowledgeable. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be gentle. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the knowledge necessary to help each other become the best version of ourselves. Inshallah, after the remaining sunan, we'll have our weekly hadith session. Everyone is requested to participate. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.